Dispatch number 18. Yes. How was someone able to infiltrate our systems? Tylea exclaimed as he slammed both fists onto the boardroom table inside one of the suites inside the Brazorian arena. The greatest fight night in Brazorian history. The most tickets that we've ever sold on a single event. This is absolutely unacceptable. Everything has been ruined because of some teensy weensy moon blowing up. I will not go down for this. Brazorian casino boardroom members stared at one another in lieu of Tylea's rage. Some were surprised at the inconsiderate comments towards fellow Moon Laborio. Others quickly tried to figure out internally how to gather their money and get out of this sector of the galaxy before things got worse. Every place of the Legion of Wen has shown up. Pain and suffering has followed to the surrounding areas of previous hit sites. Searing with rage to the point of killing off one of his boardroom goonies, Tylea collected himself, took a deep breath, and turned his attention to the center of the ring where the scheduled fights had resumed. Keep an eye on the rest of the fights. No one leaves this room until tonight's profits are captured. Tylea turned back around to face his board members. I'm off to Destiny's Fortune to get to the bottom of this once and for all. Tell security to lock down the ship, and all Brazorian exits at once. The head of the casino stormed out of the suite, almost breaking the hand-censored lock in the process. The rest of the board members looked at each other in silence, hesitant to risk the chance of fleeing or to wait for the profits to risk more death. Roars of cheer could be heard throughout the casino as the greatest night of Brazorian fighting continued. This guy doesn't look too happy, said JB as Tylea made his way towards Destiny's Fortune. As the casino leader drew closer, the crew just outside the ship were beginning to notice more and more security rallying surrounding them. The commanders and intoxicated members of the crew could see the veins popping out of Tylea's forehead, causing a few untimely chuckles as the situation grew more and more serious. All exits blocked, several hundreds guarding between them and the next ship. Sounds like a little welcoming party after a night of gambling. This doesn't need to be difficult. You may have fooled our casino once with your happy-go-lucky antics, but we will not be the victim of galactic embarrassment. Do you know what we do to the people that break the rules in Brazoria? Said Tylea, as security forces around the perimeter drew their weapon, pointing them directly at the commanders and crew. Look, boss, I don't know who hacked our system or how they were able to do it, but I can guarantee you that we have no interest in joining the Wen or have any intentions of blowing up Bardirian moons, said Commander Vaughn, the tone in his voice growing ever so pressing. It's hard to explain, but it's actually the exact opposite. Then how do you explain the communications jammer originating from inside Destiny's Fortune? Yelled the impatient manager of the casino. Recruits were finally sobering up, quickly for that matter, realizing that security was continuing to circle in on them every few seconds. Well, that's news to us, said Commander Sean calmly, trying not to draw attention to the bead of sweat running down his forehead. I'm sure there's a logical explanation to all. Lies! Interrupted Tylea, finally having enough of Destiny's Fortune's antics. Casino security has evidence that points to the Legion of Wind sightings throughout the night, with communications that so rudely interrupted the greatest night of the entertainment that Brazoria has ever seen. I could honestly care less about Laborio's sorry-ass moon. Yeah, I said it. Someone needs to suffer the consequences of messing with the integrity of my casino. Silence echoed throughout the ship hangar. Even some of the security forces looked at each other with darting eyes of concern. Their boss had finally blown his gasket. Tylea Brazoria, said a voice from Destiny's Fortune just inside the slipway. I believe that this is what you're looking for. King Aras emerged from inside the ship, holding a piece of electronic equipment. The royalty of Simia quickly paced towards the casino leader as security let him through to make his case. Aha! King of Aras of Simia. I didn't think that someone of your upbringing and, dare I say, lively abundance would ever dare sniffing a place like this. We are, as many wealthy have told us, scum of the Arderian galaxy, Tylea stated, his mouth slightly curving up a little evil grin. Araz shrugged off the comment, not giving in to the mind games of the Brazorian. Normally, a being of acceptance towards all races and creatures of the galaxy, coincidentally, the king of the rest of Simia did not have very good relations dating back generations with Brazoria. Your accusations are false, my friend, said Aras calmly. Destiny's Fortune has been hunting down and battling the Legion of Wind over Macedon and Simia thus far. With Laboria being their latest victim, I expected at least a hint of sympathy out of you. Maybe that's why my father told me to never do business with you or any of your kind. Tylea smirked, not taken aback whatsoever by the king's attempt at slighting Brazoria. The commanders looked at each other to warn the other of a potential confrontation. Movement from inside the ship triggered a few security members to shift their attention from the discussion that was slowly heating up. My king, it is with the utmost respect that I ask you to clear our security team to search the ship in lieu of what happened last night. Once all is clear, I'll gladly order Destiny's Fortune a pass. We can also have our research department take a closer look at the machinery brought forth, said Tylea, with a slightly sarcasm tone in his voice. Very well. Commanders, please let security make their way about the ship and let me know if they need anything, said King Aras. Not really asking as much as stating, both commanders and Vons proceeded to nod their heads in approval. Reimer wrestled away the staff and sent it right back to one of the wind, activating the stun, setting and temporarily paralyzing his foe. He dropped to his knees and was immobile for a few seconds, still trying to recover from the initial blow that paralyzed several members of Destiny's Fortune. The entire crew was now in grave, grave danger. The flight engineer made his way out of the Coliseum suite, back into the casino where recruits were still partying and gambling the night away. He managed to spot Risk and a few janitors at the craps table with no security in sight. Quick, whispered flight engineer Reimer. We have to get out of here. Things are going to get ugly really fast. I'll explain in a bit, but you have to trust me. Clearing his throat in obvious pain, Reimer spit out the blood that had acquired from the skirmish between the captains and the wind. It was all up to a few of them to escape now. Risk gave a quick scan of the janitor crew. Master of the Mop, Mr. Mop Buckets, Janitor Chokin Grandy, Janitor Lance Torrey, and Janitor Pro Eric grabbed one of the pieces that he had swiped from the seal of Elsendor and followed the flight engineer to the nearest casino escape pod that wasn't monitored by security. As the rogue crew stealthily loaded themselves into the pod, they heard a quiet shriek coming from behind a set of old machinery in the bay. What? Oh, wait! Said a shrill voice, the same voice that echoed over the loudspeaker inside the fight arena. Please take me with you. I need to make sure Laborio is avenged. Who are you? You're the one that interrupted tonight's event. How can we trust you? Said Reimer, unwilling to give in without more detail. I am La Royo of Laborio. the sole Lobo to survive this evening's attack by the Legion of Wind, said the Lobo, the hair on his back stuck straight up amidst the horrific terror that his moon incurred. The Legion of Wind jammed the broadcast of the fights and rerouted a message they forced me to make while being held hostage after my delivery to the casino earlier in the day. Please help me get out of here. A tad skeptic, Risk and Reimer looked at each other, coincidentally nodded. All right, strap yourself in. You've got quite the backstory to fill us in on, said Reimer, setting the escape pod sequence with the compound. A few seconds later, the crew had disbanded from the rest of the casino and was now headed to the obliterated moon of Laborio, hoping to find any sort of evidence of remaining life on the latest victim of the Legion of Wind.
Recruits, it's time for you to choose what you think happens next. You now get to communally select which character of the 10 moons of Ilsindor perishes in dispatch number 19. Select 1 if Tylea, owner of the Brazorian Casino, dies. Select 2 if Violco, member of the Legion of Wen, dies. And select 3 if Leroyo, finally member of the Laborion species, dies. Head to the Choose Your Own Adventure channel in the Shot to the Moon Discord and discuss your choices with fellow Space Pass holders. Listen to next week's podcast to hear what happens next.